All right, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Okakwadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and who is worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and full of the gospel. It's the brother Gabar from the Indiana camp, coming back at you again one other sit down. And I'm basically gonna touch on the MOTB. You know, it's been a minute since I've went into it. So you know, I was watching Apostle Tahar's video of he was laying backing on the elder out in London. Yeah, he was laying backing on that elder, and the video that he was doing. His I forgot exactly which brother was it. But yeah, the apostle was, you know, and he was going into the mark of the beast and everything. But so I was watching that, and it just got me into the spirit, you know, because Apostle Tahar had said that, you know, he has thousands of videos that he does it, you know, and it's something that, you know, we hit a lot, you know, something that we go into almost every video, or we try to mention every video. But you know, GMS is notorious for mentioning the MOTB and telling the people what it is. All right, these other camps out here, they might, you know, bring it up, but they don't go into it like we do. All right, it's gonna come a time, it's gonna come a point where everybody's gonna have to, you know, acknowledge that GMS had it right. You know, that they called it years ago. You know, since the apostles first got on YouTube, since day one, they coined it that the MOTB is that RFID microchip that this man Esau Edom is gonna put upon the whole entire world to get. But again, he's not gonna get his way, because that's when the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said what he's gonna intercept his enterprise, so to speak. You know, he's gonna come and disrupt his main goal, because that's Esau's main goal, believe it or not. His main goal is to have everybody on this planet Earth chipped, all right, and to have everybody up under his control. You see? So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna read into it, into the MOTB. You know, bring out some precepts, go into it. You know, of course, break down the word. You know, the daily, you know, the daily routine, just to put that out there and give brothers a refresher. You know, but like I said, you know, we go into this daily. We go into it almost every video, every camp. You know, we try to hit on the MOTB, all right, because that's the main prophecy that's really going to be separating a lot of these people out here. That's going to separate the men of the Lord from the false prophets, all right, because you do have Hebrew Israelites out there that's telling you that the MOTB isn't the RFID microchip, all right, and if their congregation take it, then they're gonna find their place in the lake of fire. Thus says Revelations in the 19th chapter, all right. If you take that MOTB, you're going to find yourself in the lake of fire. You're going to find yourself in the ICBM missiles that's going to hit America and burn this place down to the ground. All right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into it. This is Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. It says, And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Right? So, you know, and we all know that this was what the Roman Empire. All right, then the two horns goes into the two parties that Rome had set up, which I believe was called the patricians and the plebiscites. All right, the patricians going into the high ranking members of the world, you know, of the king of the empire, and the patricians, or I got it probably mixed up. In fact, I think the plebiscites was the poor and the patricians was the high ranking. Hold on, let me ask Google right quick. Plebeians and patricians. In ancient Rome, the patricians were the wealthy. Okay, so the patricians were the wealthy and the nobles, claiming the decent original founders, and the plebiscites were the general bodies of Rome, you know, and nowadays, because what America is, the Roman Empire coming back again, is what is now known as what the Democrats and the Republicans. All right, and spake as a dragon, which it goes back into those draconian laws that's going to be implemented, you know. Verse 12, it says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whom deadly wound was healed. Right. And like I said, the first beast was the Roman Empire. All right, because it talks about that in the book of Daniel, the eighth chapter, how Daniel, the fourth beast, was more diverse than all the rest of the beasts. All right, and what made it diverse is because the Roman Empire had set up a Senate house. All right, the three prior beasts before then, which was the Babylonians, the Persians, and the Greeks. The things that made them different was that it was normally set up as a king, and as soon as that king dies, they set up an heir to that kingdom, you know, which was either their son or their right hand man if they didn't have a son, you know, and so forth and so forth. But see, with the Roman Empire, when they came in, they did things different. All right, that's what made them diverse. All right, they set up a Senate house which had about 100 rulers, and they pick, you know, it talks about that in the book of First Maccabees. All right, that they will come in and they will pick a ruler every 4 years. All right, and that's what made the Roman Empire diverse than any other beast, you see. But now it says what, whom's deadly wound was healed, because why? The Roman Empire had failed. All right, and it was prophesied that what, they were going to fall for 1,000 years, you know. And that's when you have the rise and upcoming of the Byzantine Empire, which was ruled by Jake, all right, or also known as the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, so what, the pagan Roman Empire fell with the last three kings who actually really started it, which was what was the name? Julius, Otho, and hold on, I forgot. It escapes me in a minute. It's been a minute since I got into it. I know it was the three. What was it called? The first triumphant. Who was the first triumphant? It was Julius, Pompeia, and Crassus. See, those three, it was what the beginning. Those were the three beginning of the Roman Empire, but they came back reincarnated as Vespasius, Titus, and Domitius. You see, and those were the last three emperors that ruled the pagan Roman Empire. All right. So when they fell, as what, Domitius, I believe he was the last one, Vespasius being the father, and Titus and Domitius being brothers, but those three coming back was the fall of the pagan Roman Empire. And then everyone after that were Jakes, you see. But when they came back into power, that was when the deadly wound was healed. All right. And when did that happen? Is around the Renaissance around the Renaissance time. That's why the word Renaissance goes back into the word rebirth. All right. Or what? Basically back into power. They're back again. All right. That's the deadly wound being healed. Okay. Verse 13, it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Right. And he displayed that with Hiroshima and Nagasaki when he dropped the atomic bomb on them. All right. That fire coming down from heaven, the Lord had given this man, the Germans, the technology and the knowledge to create basically the atom bomb. All right. So now you have the creation of the missile, which it talks about that in the book of Isaiah. All right, the 56th chapter, it says, what, I create the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. So the Lord is the one who give this man knowledge to do those things. So he had created the missiles. All right. So now people, so it says, what, now he doeth wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven, So, and it was really the Lord who actually gave him that power to do that, but he used Esau to do it. All right. That's how you know that beast or that dragon is talking about Edomites, because they were the first ones who initially invented the atomic bomb. All right. That's how you know this is all talking about Esau, Edom, who are so-called white people. All right. It says, and deceived them that dwelled on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he hath power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make a image of the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And that's exactly what Esau is doing now, man. He's bringing those old Roman ways back to life. All right, he's trying to institute that image, which that image of the beast isn't Seshra Bozier, which I don't know if anybody is still preaching that, but that's not what that's talking about. So the image of the beast is bringing back that philosophy or that way of life of America, and making it live. And then what is really bringing back the way of life of the Romans, you see? So it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's why isn't this going to go into the mark of that beast in the next couple verses? But that's why he's going to go a route when he issues that MOTB, that if nobody wants to take it, if nobody wants to be obedient, if nobody wants to get with the program, then they're going to be killed, because they're ultimately saying that they don't want to worship the image. They don't want to get down with this man's ways. They're not okay with homosexuality. They're speaking out against the things that Esau is doing in the world, and Esau doesn't want that. He wants you to get with his program. All right. And if you don't get with his program, sometimes he might embarrass you. He has what is it called? What's that shit called? Embarrassment rituals. Embarrassment. It's a rich. I don't know if it's called rituals, but it's called an embarrassment ritual. Well, basically, Esau will have you go through something real embarrassing, on live TV or in public or whatever, to basically humble you and show you forth as an example. If you don't listen to me, if you don't get down with my program, if you don't live the way I live, tell you what to do, then ultimately this is going to happen to you. And then if you really are rebellious and you really say too much, then he's also just going to kill you. It's certain celebrities who have died by the hands of Esau because why? They didn't want to get with the program, or they said too much, and the only way that Esau can find a way of keeping you quiet is to off you. All right. It says, and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You see, now the bread and butter, which it's all good, but this is, the main scripture we get is verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and in their foreheads. You see, and this mark isn't talking about it's not a digital ID. It's not your ID card. It's not your driver's license. It's not sleeping with white women, which I don't know if anybody's still saying that. It's not an embargo. All right. It's not your cell phone. It's not technology itself. This is actually talking about a physical chip, which we call it the RFID, which will be implemented anywhere in your body. It doesn't matter if you get it in your hand, your shoulder, your forehead, your neck. If you get that implantable chip anywhere in your body, you have just received the MOTB, And right here it says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. So see, he doesn't care what status you have in the world. He's gonna require you to get this device implemented in you. Now, back in the Roman period, there was a thing called an imperial mark. All right, and we'll just read it when it comes up. What was the imperial mark for in the Roman Empire? It says, in the Roman Empire, an imperial mark primitive served as an official sign of state ownership, militarized enlistment, or property authorization. Depending on the context, a physical mark or a stamp were used to track resources, brand personnel, or identify government property. You see? So back in the Roman Empire, they used to use this imperial, and they called it an imperial mark, to brand certain slaves, certain offices, certain soldiers, to basically show that you were basically property or identified government property. You see, so what you belonged to him. And that's exactly what he's coming back out with in today's time. You know, like we already proved that what the Roman Empire is, America is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. So what now that he's bringing that modernized imperial mark. All right. It says military and state branding. It says soldiers identify a rule. It says Roman recruits received a permanent military mark or a tattoo on the hand or arm, which completing their initial training. This proved that they are legendary and helped catch deserves. It says armory worker. In the later empire, state factories and weapon workers were branded on their arm with an imperial mark to prevent them from fleeing their mandatory or hiatus jobs. You see? So here it is. And this man is going to do all that. So that's why it says back in the Revelations, it says what? He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So he said he wants everybody to get this chip. You know? It doesn't matter if you're a mayor. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer. It doesn't matter if you're a bum on the street. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a lawyer, or even the president, or even another nation. You know, he wants everybody to receive this mark, you know, because it's going to ultimately grant him what? Control over everyone. You do what he says. If you don't do what he says, what? He cuts your mark off. All right. If he doesn't need to go, you can't, there is no such thing as living off the grid no more. Everything that you want in his society, you're going to have to get that MOTB. You're going to have to get that chip implemented into your body some way, shape, or form. All right. Let me put this in. Did slaves have to get the imperial mark? It says no, slaves did not have to get a universal imperial mark as a standard rule across empires. Though individual slaves, hold on, let me put in the Roman Empire. Did slaves have the rights and no, universal law requires all slaves in the Roman Empire to bear a certain ties, imperial mark, or tattoo in their body. No universal uniform or brand. Slave collapse. Slaves did not have to have a universal uniform or a mandatory physical stamp identifying them as property of the state or general master. Individual owners sometimes tattooed or brand slaves frequently on their foreheads as a punishment, as a discretion against running away. If you are returning to the biblical, such as the mark of the beast in Revelations, let me know and I can provide more context on how the Roman brand compares to those passages. Okay, I read something earlier where it said that sometimes slaves also got it, you know, but coming now into today's time, he's going to make everybody get it. Israelites, Edomites, Moabites, Hamites, everybody he's going to cause everybody to get that mark, you know, which we already know, which I'm going to go into it right now. That word mark goes back into a Greek word. Right here, you got a chragma, which is the Greek word, which goes into, it says a stamp, a imprint mark, a mark stamp on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of a follower of the Antichrist. It says the mark, brand upon horses, things carved, sculptured, graved work, an idolatrous image. All right. So see that image, that mark, once you get that MOTB, doesn't matter what reason you get it for, but if you get that MOTB, if you get that chip inserted in you, you're basically giving power over to Esau. So what? To basically saying that what he's your God, or what a bad, like it's like Scripture says, what a badge of a follower of the Antichrist, which is Esau. So here you are, you're saying you're okay with Esau ruling over you. You okay with him ruling the world. You okay with his statutes, laws, and judgments. All right. And especially if you're an Israelite. All right. Engravement. All right. So that's what that's going into. That's what that means. You see? So you get the MOTB, you're fucked. And best believe, listen, Esau he's gonna play dirty. He's gonna hit on your soft spots. All right. He's gonna threaten you. He's gonna deceive you. He might say he'll boost your credit. He might say he'll let your loved ones out of jail. He might say he'll put if your mother needs a liver, he might put her at the fucking top of the list. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. It talks about how he's gonna come with that trickery. He's gonna come with that deception first. And we know what the devil Theodore Roosevelt had said. What he has a famous quote saying, what, speak softly but carry a big stick. All right, which means what? You try to get them with deception first. You try to get them with deception first, and if deception doesn't work, then you come in with force. Then you come in with violence. All right. All right, this is Revelation chapter 19 verse 20. It says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before them. You see, and we already explained who the beast was, and that false prophet is what? The Roman Catholic Church that wrought miracles before him. It says with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. You see, so he's gonna come with that deception first, and all those who took it, whether you was deceived in it or whether he just forced you, you gonna have what? Both these were cast alive in the lake of fire burning with brimstone. All right. So if you find yourself with that MOTB on the soils of America, just know you're gonna have your part of that lake of fire. Just know you're gonna be basically burnt up or Sarah Connored on the lands of America. All right. And it don't matter, no status. You can't say, oh, I'm exempt from taking it. Because listen, that ain't going to be. It's either you take it or death. Or sometimes he going to force people to take it. You see? Verse 17, back in Revelation 13, it says, and no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the number of the beast, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You see? So wait, you're not going to be, and that buy and sell is just basically you being ostracized in society. Buying and selling is basically your main way of living. All right. You go to work. So what? You can buy and sell. All right. You own stuff for what? For the stuff that you own. How did you get it? You bought it. And the stuff that you don't, what do? You sell it. But see, if you don't have no means to buy and sell, what does that mean for you? You have no societal purpose. You can't be a citizen in a place that you have nothing to buy or sell with. If I go to China and I don't have the yen, what the fuck can I do there? I can't do nothing if I don't have the yen, or if I don't have nothing that I can trade for a yen. So here it is. This man is going to make it impossible for you to survive in this upcoming world. But what does that mean for the elect? We have scriptures backing up how the Lord is going to take care of us. All right. We don't have to worry about the thing. We don't have to worry about our food, our drink, our clothing, our shelter. When this man is running rampant, when he's going around chipping people, we should already have in our mind a set. Like, listen, like the brother Kai always say, listen, the members of the elect, The Israelites, they always, especially the men of the Lord, they always followed the laws by the land until they and all the way until they can't, and all the way until it was impossible. You know, they was a law-abiding citizen all the way until it came between them and the Lord. When it became between them and the Lord, and that's when the men of the Lord chose the Lord and disobeyed the king. And we're in the same stead. Here he is. We follow the law. We do what's right. You know, we pay taxes. We pay our taxes. We pay for stuff. We don't steal. We don't go out there killing. We don't do out no malicious intent. You know, we're law-abiding citizens is what I'm trying to say. But all the way until this MOTB comes out, you know, where your job might offer it to you, your healthcare might offer it to you, your insurance or whatever, they're gonna say, hey, you know, we're gonna have to implant this into you in order for you to, you know, to get your benefits, in order to get your paycheck. And then that's when we cut it off. That's when we say, oh, well, I guess this is my last day today, or I guess this is it for me, you know. And that's when the Lord steps in. You're allowing the Lord to step in to take care of you, you know. So that's what it's all getting back to, man. That's why Apostle Haas said years ago, and I'm always gonna say this. Eventually, you know, it ain't gonna be no GMS, IUIC, ISUPK, Wi-Fi. It's gonna be the men of the Lord and the false prophets. All right, and it's gonna be evident. You're gonna see who the false prophets are. You're gonna see how their doctrine is gonna crumble, and then you're gonna know who the men of the Lord is. Or you're gonna remember those who warned you from these things to come. All right, and you ain't gonna say GMS didn't warn you or GMS didn't talk about the MOTB. I'm pretty sure there's not a brother in GMS who don't got an MOTB video on his page. Several probably. All right. So, like I said, I just wanted to hit into that. I just wanted to get into the mark of the beast. You know, it's always a good topic to get into. It's always a good topic to refresh yourself with. You know, but like I said, we hit this topic on a weekly basis. All right. There's not a time where it doesn't come out our mouth, even for a brief second. You might be in the middle of a video, you know, and boom, you know, but just, oh yeah, MOTB this, and guess what? If you take it, you're gonna die. You know, just a quick hit, you know, or a quick cut, and you get back to your lesson. All right, but that just shows you the totality and the seriousness of this scripture, because this is one, if not the last prophecy that we're actually waiting for to happen. Because as soon as this happened, guess what follows right after? The missiles hitting this place. And then after that, man, we gone. We back home, baby. We out this place. All right. So that's all I had, man. Lord, after this video was edifying you for you guys. Until next time, shalom.